Xin chào quý anh chị, chào mừng quý anh chị quay trở lại với kênh của Citizen Pathway và Trúc đang ngồi đây với Christian Chantepelis, luật sư trưởng mảng di trú hãng Johnson Walker. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Trudy. Happy to speak with you today about the EB-1C program, which is an immigrant process for those who are abroad to move to the United States under meeting certain requirements. I do run the business immigration practice at Jackson Walker and have been partnered with Citizen Pathway and Trudy and her team for several years now, and we continue to work with new clients and old clients alike.
Thank you, Christian. We're really happy and grateful for your support on the journey of invest or do business in the US and have the investor to get a green card. And we've done many successful cases, and thanks for your dedication and support. So let's continue to clarify more aspect about the EB-1C process.
Sure. So the EB-1C process is one of the employment-based immigrant categories under our U.S. immigration laws. The EB-1C is for a multinational manager to be transferred from a business abroad to a business in the U.S. And you have to make sure it has the right qualifying corporate ownership. So there needs to be a majority owner or the same set of owners own both companies. Perhaps one is a subsidiary or parent company of the other. That's the first thing we look to establish whether the EB-1C requirements are there. The second aspect is we have to look at the individual who needs to be transferred from abroad to the US. Are they serving in an executive or managerial position abroad? And will they be serving in an executive or managerial position in the United States? So what we've seen more and more are business owners abroad who've decided to acquire a majority ownership in a US company. That US company, to qualify for EB-1C, needs to be in existence for at least 1 year. We know we're going to be submitting tax returns in that petition. And then that both companies need to be big enough and strong enough in terms of employees and revenue that you can demonstrate that the individual is serving as an executive or manager, will be transferred over to the US side, and both companies will continue to operate. You're not closing companies. You have to show that they're continuing to be up and running even after that transfer occurs. And if you can make that's a very general explanation, but if you can make those requirements and you can demonstrate that executive position, the EB-1C is a possibility for you.
Wow, I think it's a big opportunity for a business owner in Vietnam because it's kind of familiar with people thinking like a huge corporation like Samsung or VinFast can send their manager from Vietnam to work in the US company, US office, for them to kind of have them to grow the business there, and they can submit for the EB-1C. That's kind of popular. But in the case that for the business owner in Vietnam, they have experience running a really successful business in Vietnam, and they want to acquire the new business or a new company in the US, and they can also submit for EB-1C. And the benefit is that they can get the 10 years green card for the whole family. I think it's kind of new, but how's more detail and what the requirements they need to look at it?
Yeah, so when we look at whether we think an EB-1C petition is possible for somebody, the first thing we look at is what is their position here in Vietnam? Are they truly serving as an executive that oversees managers and other professional employees, and then those professional employees oversee the kind of the day-to-day workers that help make the business run. They really need to be fulfilling that executive level position. We look at on the US side, if it's a newer business, does it have enough history to support an EB-1C? Again, we want to show that if they just recently acquired the business, at least that business has been around for a year. We need to show that it's not losing money. We want to show that it's able to support that EB-1C transferee in the US. And we need to show that the person transferring to the US who's going to be actively involved with the business is in a position that is executive or managerial. So we also have to show that kind of organizational chart on the US side too. Looking at it further, industries don't have to be the same. There's nothing that says that if you're in one line of business abroad, that it needs to be in the same line of business in the US. Also, the person who gets transferred from the company abroad to the company in the US does not necessarily need to be the business owner. Okay, we're looking at the position they fulfill, executive or managerial position, and whether they're going to be fulfilling an executive or managerial position in the US.
Yes, yeah, that's possible. That's an aspect that not many see in the market, but there are opportunity for people who really success in executive level, and they own their business, and they also acquire a business that already success, and they continue their ability to run in a new company and to make it success. That's also a type of employers, employees that the US side will attract to come to the US to work on.
That's right.
And the proof we have many investors who already success in the EB-1C process while they are invest in the preschool in Texas.
Sure.
Yeah, and can you please share more about it? What the benefit of that model that we've done so far?
Well, the benefit is it can be a faster process than other immigrant processes. We do get access to premium processing when filing I-140, putting it under a 45-day kind of time period to get a response from USCIS. The other benefit is, the executive or individual who's being transferred over can also be accompanied by their spouse and children under the age of 21. Beyond that, you are now a partial owner of a business, or a majority owner of a business in the US.
Yes.
That you're a part of, and you have access to that business through your US partners. That's all going to be contracts that show you what your ownership is. You're going to have your job duties, your role within the company. And then from there, if you have a green card, you can go on and expand your business interests as well. Your spouse can work and travel as needed. Your children can go to school in the US. So there's a lot of benefits of wound up being a permanent resident.
Yes.
The other thing I want to point out is it doesn't mean that you have to just abandon your ownership or involvement in the company abroad. You still can have your involvement in the company abroad. You still can be an owner as you were. In fact, you have to or need to maintain that qualifying corporate relationship so that exists between the two companies to help make it qualify for EB-1C. So I think there are a lot of benefits to the EB-1C program. It's not for everybody, okay? Because not everyone's an owner of a significant or substantial business here in Vietnam. Not everyone has the resources or the appetite to invest and take on the role in the US. But for those who do have that interest and ability, it can be a real option to consider for immigrating to the US.
Yes. That's a real option, and it's not for everyone, of course. It will kind of suitable for the business owner, not only business owner, but they also need to run the business as an executive level. And they would like to come to the US, not only to migrate, but also to run the business there. So some people asking, hey, the benefit of EB-1C is right away. We can see they have 10 years green card within just a year. With no visa backlogs and premium processing, they can get the approved within 45 days. So how they can get the money back? There are many projects for them to choose, but we see there are schools in Texas running by a very good manager that can help them to get the money back after 3 to 5 years with the option that they invest. So I think for a business that already running successfully in the US, and when we acquire them, we have to run that business also, so the very good chance for them to get the money back. So that's a real opportunity. And if the investor would like to learn more about it, Cùng Citizen Pathway and Christian and the team and Citizen Pathway, we're ready to help. So thank you for your helpful information today, and we hope that we can continue to helping more Vietnamese investors success in their journey.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.